The views and opinions on the Craig L. Hayes Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resorts, ownership, or management. And now, on with the show. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
And welcome back, America, family, friends, and listeners all around the planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes. We are continuing on with episode number 3 with Beau Doyle, and where we continue talking about life, our lives in show business. You know, I should write a book like that or something like that one day about show business. Oh, I already did.
I was going to say, I think you wrote one or two already, but we could use more.
Yeah. I'm actually working on another one right now, but it's my autobiography. It's a comedy.
I love it.
Yeah. And we're going to continue on, but we are at the Westgate Resort, Las Vegas, here in Elvis Presley's dressing room. Right next door is Barry Manilow's private dressing room. And the two men that have had the most shows in this showroom. And we are honored to be here, and thank you, Cammie Christensen, Don Rawl, and John Pierre for making this happen and allowing me to do this. I so very appreciate it, and the history is being preserved on this room and of this town. So, Beau, let's continue on. We got to, you know, it to me it's just a time in our lives that in 19 things were just cooking. I mean, I don't know about you, but you know, the economy was cooking. This town was looking forward to have the biggest years because the economy was just roaring. You know,
Yeah.
Trump had been elected.
Yep.
Tax cuts were in place. Businesses were just going crazy. And they were projecting that Vegas would have some of its biggest years, 2019, 2020, and stuff like that. Were going to be some of the biggest. We had more shows booked for those 2 years. We had all these things going. And then China screwed the world over. Shut it all down. Well, they didn't shut it down. Stupid politicians did. Playing the game. Like I said, I don't want to get political on some of this stuff. But, you know, people need to know how bad it impacted everybody in the world. It wasn't just a couple mom and pop stores. It was everybody. This town literally shut down. Did you travel outside after the town had been, you know, the hotels had been closed and all that stuff? It was a ghost town. We're a city of almost 3 million people, and nobody was out. Nobody was doing anything. The first few days, you go out there, and you could literally drive down the strip, and nobody was on the strip. Nobody.
Oh, it was amazing. It was never in my life would I ever have fathomed the Las Vegas Strip shutting down. We came down one night, and there was a group, my whole big family, and we rode bikes down the Strip. There was probably 300 people on bicycles and maybe 5 cars on the whole Strip. Every hotel completely blocked, boarded up. There was cops stationed at certain hotels not letting people get in. It was like living in a Stephen King novel. It was unreal to go down the Las Vegas Strip of all places to have nothing was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Everything stopped. And they started making up all these little rules and all these conditions and businesses could open, but you had to have only X amount of people could be in there. You had to walk certain directions in aisles, and you know it was like, and you had to wear a mask, and you know everything they didn't do this damn thing of fixing anything.
No.
You know, and they all went about it as this is pandemic, so-called pandemic, is the worst one that ever happened. Well, you know the Spanish flu of 1918 was really bad. You know how long that one lasted? It lasted 6 weeks. They kept everything shut down and destroyed our economy for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know the reason why governors did that. They intentionally did that just to destroy, you know, the nation and President Trump. You know, and I don't care if people like it or not. That's the truth.
It is.
So, but then we came back. But when we came back, we really didn't come back.
No, it's still not the same.
I think because Biden got in there and he started losing his damn mind and overspending, overinflating everything, doing all the stuff he did, that it put a stifle on things coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we came back, we started working, we started doing some shows, we started doing stuff, but the convention work wasn't here in town. It's just been coming back over the last little while.
Right.
But, you know, but when inflation goes up, the cost of doing shows goes way up, and it's harder to get shows to come in here. So convention work suffered. Showrooms, you know, we kept on going, but I don't know. It's I don't know what our future holds. I mean, the baseball, the basketball, the football, the hockey, that's great bringing more stuff to this town. But what do you see? I don't see the same entertainment variety and stuff like there had been at one time. It's a change. Things are changing. We have to change. I get it, but I don't know. Things are just a little bit off in a lot of ways around this town. You're a musician. You know, since I remember you worked all the time back in 2018, 19. That's all you did is work.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, since the pandemic, how much work have you done in the hotels and in shows and stuff? 50% less?
Oh, much less than that. Less than that. I, like I stated before, you know, luckily I'm not a one-trick pony. I do so many different things. I had wanted to be a truck driver since I was a child, and I was going to wait until I retired and have the wife and I go out and, you know, do retirement drive and make some money and just see the country. Well, when all that went down in 21, I said, you know what, I'm going to go get my CDL. I went out, got my CDL, and I started driving because there was really hardly any shows. There was hardly any convention work. There was hardly any showroom gigs. And if you were at a place, you had to jump through so many hoops, wearing masks and doing that nose swab crap every day you go in. And I literally got fired from 4 jobs because I wouldn't bend the knee to what their will was. I said, no, I don't need it. Well, you got to work. I said, yeah, well, I'll work somewhere else. And I suffered economically,
Mm-hmm.
but who didn't?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, like you said, for the future, I don't see a lot of brightness in certain areas, but then other areas, it's just so bright for the future. But you just don't know.
Let's talk about that. What parts do you see that does anything I said made sense? That I don't see some of the stuff coming back, and what do you see that is going to come back? You know, in town, in entertainment or whatever. You know.
As far as entertainment goes, I don't know. I haven't played. I was, like you were saying, I was playing, you know, 3-4 nights a week. Then I was coming over here and running the automation for Manilow's show. We'd close the show down. I'd walk across the casino. I'd get on stage and play. Then Manilow's band would come out. The whole band would come out and jam with us. I was bringing back the old school Vegas. I had guys from Celine Dion's band, from Britney Spears' band, you know, obviously Manilow's band, all coming out and jamming. Then this whole scamdemic happened. And that's what I call it, the scamdemic.
I agree.
You know, so those of us that know the know, we know.
Yeah.
And again, it's hard not to get political in these times because it seems like everything is based off of somebody's politics nowadays. And I think that's why I don't see certain brightness in the future, because of all the politics that's involved, because people don't know how to get out of their own way. Yeah. People don't know how to agree to disagree anymore. It's either you think the way I do or go F yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
and I think we allowed governors and other politicians way too much authority.
Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
To take and shut down whole industries,
Mm-hmm.
to shut down businesses, to shut down everything on a whim.
Right.
And not compensate them. I'm sorry. You know, Beau and I see a lot of things eye to eye on a lot of things, just so everybody knows. I'm sorry, but if you're going to take and shut down somebody's business in your government, you have to compensate them.
Right.
They have to be compensated. You just can't say, "I'll just tough it out for the next year, year and a half, and everything will be fine, and we're not going to do anything to help you out." Because there is a part in our Constitution that you can't take someone's property, life, liberty, all these things, and not be compensated.
Right.
You can't take someone's property from them without paying them, fair compensation for their property,
Right.
But nobody did.
We can go round and round. And see, that's the thing, too, is there's so many things that I want to say, about we, the American people, are just, it seems like we don't do anything until literally push comes to shove and it's too late.
Yeah.
They don't stand up. Like over in Europe, they'll stand up and be like, "Yeah, no, we ain't doing this." Over here in the States, they don't care. There's so many things going on over here that unless it affects you on the personal level, people just don't get involved.
Yeah.
And because of that, all of our work has suffered, because people didn't stand up and say, no, we're not doing this. If people stood up and said, "No, we're not doing this," and continued on to do things, there's no way they could have controlled it. Nothing would have closed down. People would have kept going, and industries wouldn't have shut down.
Yeah.
But they just don't.
No, I agree.
And again, I hate getting political about it, because this is all about entertainment, but it affected us more than any other industry, because the first thing that goes when the economy takes a hit is entertainment.
Yep.
Because that discretionary income, that goes to us, that goes to, people, in not so many words, escaping society, so to speak. They go to see a movie for 2 hours to escape problems that they're having somewhere else, or going out and seeing a show to have a great night to forget about, the life problems that they're having. That's the first thing that goes, is all that discretionary income.
Yeah, and that's,
If that makes sense.
This town's built on discretionary income.
Yes.
People from California or wherever coming here and saying, "Oh, I got all this extra money. Let's go to Vegas and party and have a good time."
Right.
Now you price yourself out of it, or you make it economically difficult for them. They don't come. Then what happens? You go, "Well, no one's coming," so start shutting down all these venues and it's
Right.
and like we are entertainment. We are the first to go on discriminatory income.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
And the thing that I've seen a bunch of things, like I was telling you earlier on Instagram, watching some things, and they're saying how Vegas, obviously we're not the same place we were before, but how these corporations have come in and just nickel and dime everybody. And now people aren't coming because they're like, "You're going to charge me for this." We used to get free drinks. Oh, now they're not. You used to get free parking. Now there's not. You used to go to free shows when you spent so much. Now they don't.
Yeah.
So people don't want to come back. And these corporations and hotels and casinos are basically screwing themselves, because they're charging so much and not giving the value for what you're paying for. And
I agree that it's I never thought I'd see paid parking at any hotel in my life.
Right.
And
in this town.
In this town, it was like ridiculous. And people go, "Well, they do it in California. Well, let them do it in California. Why did we think we have to do it here?"
Right. We never did.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, I think it was MGM started it off.
It was them.
Remember, it was after Krikorian died.
Mm-hmm.
When Krikorian passed away, the people that ran it sit there and go, "We're going to come up with a new revenue stream." I love that word, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
New revenue stream. We have a new way of making money.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
You're just screwing your customer.
Joe California's coming here with $2,000 to spend, and now you just took $20 a day out of his pocket to have him park your car, his car at your parking lot.
Right.
He didn't bring 2,040 or 2,060.
Right.
He brought 2,000.
Yep.
You're splitting that $2,000 up into different things. It's not a new revenue source. It's a different revenue punishment.
Yes. Yep.
And they don't get it.
No.
And it's like, "Oh, we're going to make all this extra money." No, you're not going to make any extra money.
No. Because then again, your shows are suffering because now they don't have that extra money to go and see the shows.
And I think so many of the shows have priced themselves just wait.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, who'd have thought that? Let's talk about shows like what's her name, Adele, over at
Oh my
Caesar
gosh.
Palace, thousands of dollars for a ticket.
Right?
I
For
saw
one night for a 2-hour show.
yeah,
Give me a break.
and
Hour and a half.
And the Eagles playing over at Sphere.
Oh my gosh.
Front rows like $4,000.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's awesome if you can pay that, and if you're making so much money you can afford it. That's awesome. But to me, that's like, I think we've gotten a little carried away on the prices here, guys.
Vegas is not for the average consumer anymore like it used to be. It's not that way.
It is. It doesn't have the bargains and the deals. I don't even know. I haven't been in the circus so long. I don't know what the price of their cheap buffet is anyway.
Oh, I don't even know if they still have one.
I don't know if this is a $1.99 buffet or
Right,
whatever,
right.
all you can hold down for $1.99. So.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got off topic a little bit, but you have to understand that in our business, yeah, we're the first out the door when times get rough because discretionary income is gone, and we're the last to come back in
Right.
because they want the hotel full, they want people gambling, they want people doing other things. The problem is, I think so many hotels in this town forget the other things they need to do is go see a show. That's what lures people into your hotels.
Yeah.
Entertainment's always been the one that lures people to your hotels, but that's the first on the chopping block. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, right.
And we're not the gambling capital of the world. We're the entertainment
Right.
capital of the world.
Right.
You get rid of entertainment in a
Yeah.
hotel.
Yeah, yeah,
what do you
exactly.
got?
Yep.
It's like it's insane, but I've been through so many different hotels in this town and so many different people running them and stuff. It's weird to watch what goes on with entertainment, but
That is true.
so let's talk a little bit about some of your favorite. What do you see as positives? Do you see some band stuff coming back in clubs or anything like that? Getting back with bands? I miss the bands.
It's funny as I've had that conversation a lot lately with people. Is the guy forgot I don't know his name, but he was the one that started the Dre's nightclub, the late night thing, the overnight raves or whatever they're called.
Okay.
With the whole DJ thing where they're paying, stupid amount of money for a guy to press play and walk away. Got rid of the bands, they put in all the DJ stuff. I saw an article from him a few years back saying that people are tired of, going to clubs and seeing the DJs, that live music is starting to make a comeback.
Good.
I just don't see it though.
Not yet.
Well, maybe I don't see it, I guess, in the way that I'm used to seeing it, where we had the lounges where you could go. In this town, you used to be able to go out any night of the week to any hotel and see a live band. Now, there's only a select few places that actually have live music. As far as a lounge band goes, you're charging, $2,000 to go see Adele or Keith Urban or Bruno Mars or something like that. You're getting big name acts, but not for the average person to go out and have a couple cocktails and sit down in a lounge. I don't see it.
Not yet, at least.
At least, yeah, not yet. I don't. I'm kind of out of the loop. When I'm not working, I'm home. It's just so many years of doing this and being out, and people are like, oh, you want to go out and party? I'm like, I lived that lifestyle for years. I'd rather be at home watching TV, hanging out with the wife.
And that's good point. Thanks for bringing that up. A lot of people don't understand that we who work in show business on our nights off, we don't go and say, hey, let's go see a show. No, we don't.
No, no.
We're done. We've done our business. We've done shows. We've had enough. We want to go see the inside of our house and the inside of our eyelids.
Yes, yeah. And our families that we haven't seen for years.
Yeah, and start hanging out with them. I just retired last August, and my kids and grandkids all showed up and said, "Who are you?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, yep. No kidding.
And I was like, I was the guy that would walk through every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that guy. Yeah.
I'm the guy that's paid for this house and all the food that you guys are eating, and I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My kids are smart asses.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable.
Right.
But some of the shows that you've enjoyed, let's do both. Let's tell me a couple of shows that you did, but you really didn't care for them too much. you know, and why, and let's talk about a couple of shows that you just loved working, you loved doing, the whole 9 yards.
That's hard.
And it's hard for everybody.
I've done, again, the first big show, go back to his effects. I was on the carp crew, I was on the rigging crew, I was on the stage crew during shows, I was on the lighting crew for years. Then I did producers over at the Paris. The Broadway show came out they had one of the, I think it was the Blue Tour. I think they had a Red and Blue Tour or a 1 and 2, so A and B, something like that. We had the traveling show we did a year straight over there, or actually a year and a half, something like that. And that was an incredible show. And working Manilow's show, I've worked Tom Jones' show, I've worked Carrot Top show, I've done Burn the Floor, that Australian dance floor. I was the head flyman over at the Luxor when it was in the theater over there, pulling curtains in and out for that show and backdrops, changes. Done tons of rock and roll shows back at the old MGM Grand Arena over at the Thomas and Mack. I don't know if there's any. Yeah, I was over as the head carpenter at Absinthe for a while. Incredible show. I don't know if there's any shows that I just dreaded doing. God, I was on Peep Show for a long time too. That was a great show. A lot of fun. Great cast, great crew. Man, that's hard. That's a hard. Being in the business for so long, that's.
The point of that one, just asking that question, is those are the memories. And you're going to keep those and look back on them every so often, just smile and kind of get a laugh out of it and remember stupid things people did. And, and I look back at my time in the lounges, and so many of those guys, they're all gone. They're dead.
Right. Yep.
The checkmates, those guys are dead. So I don't know if Sonny Charles is, but Sweet Louie did. The Treniers, they were old back in 84.
Yeah.
85, 86,
Yep.
they were old back then.
Yep.
So I'm sure if they're not gone, they're not in real good shape. But and bottoms up some shows that what I've done, and so many of them are gone.
Yeah. Yep.
But the memories are still there, and I can sit
Right.
there and I can think about it, and I start laughing at some of it, and I go, man, those guys were good.
They knew how to entertain.
Boy, they were good.
Without all the garbage.
Yeah, they were just.
You know what I mean?
They were amazing.
Yeah.
They're
I went on tour with Mark Anthony back in 2006, and it was Mark Anthony and Marco Antonio Solis were co-headliners. Depends upon if it was more of a Puerto Rican Cuban crowd or if it was more of the Mexican ranchero style crowd. They would swap.
Yeah.
As far as who headlined. Mark Anthony is one of those guys. I get chills. He's a little bitty dude. Like he's only probably 5'5", 5'6", maybe. Tiny. And I'm a little bit bigger guy. I'm 6'1", 240, 250 on any given day. He's tiny. When that dude is on stage, he commands your attention.
That's great.
Like that dude has it.
Yeah.
When they say, does that person have it? That dude encompasses it.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra had it.
Oh man,
Dean
Manilow.
Martin, Manilow.
They have
Johnny
it.
Mathis.
Where you don't need all the extra lighting, explosions, and all the like I call it, the flash and trash, the garbage. These individuals command you to pay attention to them.
Yep.
By their mannerisms, by the way they carry it. Like, it's just, they don't make it like that anymore.
Yeah.
You have all these acts where you have to add, dub tracks over their vocals. You have to add a tuning machine, something
10
gimmick.
dancers, video walls, pyro, lasers, the whole 9 yards to
Right.
make it seem like you're watching a show when you're watching. I'm sorry, but so many of them, the Britney Spears and stuff like that. Okay, she puts on a fun show and stuff like that, but it's not one of those. She's an entertainer. She's just
Somebody playing the part.
playing a part.
She's the piece of the puzzle that somebody goes, oh, she's a cute little girl. Let's plug her in.
Yeah,
You
and that's
know?
what that one of these people that do that. Yeah, have it, and that's exactly it. Boy, do they have it.
Right.
I used to run sound for like George Burns and all these guys.
Wow.
And Jerry Lewis and Tony Orlando.
Yeah.
All these
Yeah.
big guys way back in the days that's when I'd do sound, and they had it.
Right. Yeah,
Frank's-
Tom Jones, the Righteous Brothers. I've worked their shows hundreds of times. Just amazing.
Frank Sinatra.
James Brown.
Oh yeah,
His show. Even when he was, this was in the middle 90s, 94, 95, he came in. He was just still killing it. Gladys Knight, she put on a hell of a show. The people that have it.
yep. And you're going to pay attention to them, and it's a quality that I don't think you can grow it. I don't think it's something that you can go and develop into. I think you have it
Or you don't.
your whole life, and you learn how to make it grow.
Right.
It's not something that you don't have it when you're a young teenager, stuff like that. All of a sudden you develop it. I don't think it works that way. I think these people always had it,
Right.
and then found out what they could do with it. And then,
Right.
yeah, it's amazing when that stuff does happen like that. It's I was trying to say something about Frank Sinatra. Running with Frank Sinatra over at the Riviera, they would introduce him, and then he would just walk out on stage. It was pitch. You could hear a pin drop in the room.
Right.
And he would stand there and just take a quick bow to everybody, and the place blew up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for that few seconds, it was in awe. This is a time his voice was not good. His voice was, basically gone in a lot of ways, and very gravelly. And his memory, he'd forget some lines and stuff like that in songs. Nobody cared.
Right.
Nobody cared. It was Frank.
Right.
They were standing there watching Frank walk out on stage and tell a couple of quick stories and sing some songs, and people didn't care. They loved every second of it.
Right.
He had it,
Miss those days growing up in, the early 80s, going out and see Buddy Rich's big band, Stan Kenton's band, Basie's band. Saw them all over the Sahara, and on different times. Or when we had the Jerry Lewis Telethon that was over at the old Sahara, or it was back at Caesars and then back Sahara.
Yep.
Those times we don't have times like that anymore.
Yeah. And is it going backwards to have some of those times? I'm not sure. Or is it, because we got to move forward, but are we actually moving forward on finding new entertainment and finding what people want to see? I literally think that the whole DJ thing's about to run out. I mean,
Oh, God, I hope so. It's ridiculous.
I find nothing appealing in it. I don't understand it. How do you want to just walk up to watch a guy go up there and hit the buttons and sit there and just, hey, we are, and hit another button, another song start? Really?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And you're paying this guy how much? Whatever.
Yeah, they complain about paying a band $1,000 a night, but they're going to pay $250,000 a night for a freaking DJ.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. I just don't get. And I think social media has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
Attention span.
Yep.
And how do you?
I think the public are
capitalize?
goldfishes.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Memory of a goldfish and attention span to match.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And like it's funny because I fall right into that category, man. My wife makes fun of me all the time. I'll have a YouTube video on, and then right next to me, I'll have my phone, and I'll be scrolling through Instagram at the same time. She's like, you're two conversations. I go, well, I'm listening with one ear and the other ear. And like, if one grabs me, I'll pause the other one. But my attention span is just horrible when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's weird,
yeah.
Well,
as a drummer, you have to use 4 parts of your brain.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Your brain. Your brain is split up into 4 pieces, and one
right.
runs your one hand, one runs the other,
Yep.
one runs your foot.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to do 4 different
Multitask.
things.
Yeah. I try to use that as a comment.
That's my
She's like,
excuse, yeah.
no, baby,
I
no.
don't play it. No.
Yeah.
Nice try, honey.
Yeah,
I take out the garbage.
exactly. Right. So true.
So,
But
yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for a lot of entertainment. I don't know what direction the people that push it, are trying to go, because going back to politics, man, all the stuff that's going on in Hollywood, how are they going to continue to tell the public this is what you're going to like now because this is what we say, when the mask has been pulled back on how things have been going in Hollywood and what really happens there?
Yeah.
For those of us that are in the know,
Yeah, they're paying attention to it and stuff.
how do you say what's going to be the next big thing in entertainment? You just don't know.
Yeah. And you also look at it and go, we're getting to the point where we're running out of some of these old-time Vegas performers, the crooners, we'll call them.
Right.
Sinatra, Dean Martin, they're all gone.
Right.
We're down to, and who was it? Tony Orlando just retired. I think he'll probably come back. He loves performing. I can see him leaving for about a year and then going, let's go do one more show or something.
Yeah. I mean, look at Barry.
And Barry's just
81
years old
and it's just killing it.
almost 82, and that guy is a machine. He's a robot.
He's unbelievable.
He amazes me beyond. I did 673 shows with him.
I know I've done a couple hundred, but not that many.
Yeah, 673.
Yeah, I've done a couple. I wonder if I can figure out how many shows of his that I worked, because
It's good to do.
I've done several hundred, that's for sure.
Elvis did 636 in this room. Wow. Barry's at 690 or 700 now, or somewhere in that neighborhood.
Wow.
So it's it was quite the honor to do that many with Barry and be a part.
What's so funny, man, is he's such an odd cat, obviously, because he's a freaking genius. He's just one of the nicest guys, though.
Yeah.
Like, when you get to meet him, it's kind of, first time I met him, over at the Paris, it was weird. But then once he got to know everybody, he's the nicest guy.
Yeah. No, I've
such a good dude.
I've worked with him now over the 20-year span,
Right.
and he actually, on my retirement party, came to my retirement party and spoke for about 5 minutes and talking about me, and
I couldn't believe that. That was so cool.
That was way cool on that one. He's a great guy, and his whole organization. I like everybody in the organization. They're awesome. But yeah, to be able to do this and I look over there and go, that's Barry's room over there, and this is Elvis's kind of thing, Wow, what a joy this is, being able to do this stuff.
Right.
And I see, but I don't know what it's going to be, because we're losing these guys. Johnny Mathis is done after this month. Next month is he's done. Wow. He's starting to have memory problems and losing it, and he can't remember things very well.
You know how not every, but it just seems like there goes through cycles of entertainment where, the 80s comes back and is big in with music, or the 90s does. How are the my kids, some of your grandkids as well, in another 20 to 30 years, they're going to go, oh my gosh, you remember that DJ and the song that he did? Like, how are you going to go see that, live, so to speak, to be able to enjoy? I'm having problems understanding how these people are going to try to enjoy that type of music in 20 to 30 years when, you go out to see a band and you kind of relive like when you were a kid to see that band. Mm-hmm. I guess, I don't know, man. It's hard, because all the substances that are involved with going to see all these DJs or these type of raves or parties, you need substances to be involved to really enjoy that, I think. Maybe it's just because of my age. I don't know. But I struggle to see, and just the music nowadays, as a musician. To me, it's not musical. You've got some weird low tone frequency of something going through the whole thing with a beat and somebody rapping on it. I don't, like, where's the melody? Where's the musicality? I just don't understand a lot of that. I'm not, I don't know. I just don't get it. You know, again, growing up as a musician and going out and seeing live music and you know, it's, again, we've talked about how much of a production it's become lately with the lighting and all the different line array audio and the explosions and the lasers and smoke effects and whatever else